Hi, you guys. So, this is my attempt at being here for you when I'm not here. So, rather than have the sub take you through this assignment, I'll take you through this assignment. Sorry that this is not a very professional videotape. I don't know what I'm doing. So, your assignment for your final exam is called Museum of the Mind, and that's the purple sheet that you have that the sub gave to you. So, what you're going to be doing is instead of doing an essay or doing a like a traditional kind of exam, we're going to actually do this project until the end of the year, and then we are going to have like a museum tour that will be set up either in the room or the West Commons, one or the other, and your museum tour will have all these exhibits that you built. So if you take a look at the paper, you can see that the mantra of our Museum of the Mind is think, problem solve, learn, and create. And what that means is that you're the thinker here. You have to do all the work around deciding what your project is going to be. And I can't be your brain for you. You have to do that part yourself and decide what you're interested in. I have my own stuff that I'm interested in, but I don't know. You have your own stuff that you're interested in. So you have to decide that. Problem solving in terms of like where you find your information, all that kind of stuff. So you got to come up with those things. And we're very close on the heels of what Mr. Conley took us through with regard to research pieces. So you should be able to problem solve any issues you have with being able to find information about whatever it is that you're studying. Learn, obviously, we want you to be able to learn what you're interested in, learn more about it, all kinds of stuff. And then create relates to the exhibit that you'll be building. So you've got to be thinking about how can I create something that is going to actually teach somebody about the idea that I studied. Okay, so if you follow along on the page, it's like, welcome to the final English project. At the end of the project, we will have a fully functioning museum with exhibits that you have built. The objectives, we're going to practice those research skills that Mr. Connolly taught us, and we're going to get better at it. That's going to be a big part of your sophomore year, so we want to make sure we get some of that done. You're going to understand the power of a particular idea and appreciate how it contributes to our human experience. And finally, then, to create an original display that will teach somebody else what it is that you learned and what it is that you're interested in. So if you look at the requirements, that first bullet of the requirements, you're going to be looking at selecting an idea that's something that's interesting to you, something you want to learn more about. And you're going to be really allowing yourself to think like in a really diverse way about the idea. So it's like our Socratic seminar. Questions lead to more questions. It's like research may take you in multiple different directions, and we want to make sure that you allow yourself the ability to kind of explore the whole idea and connecting ideas around it as well. But here's the kicker. It has to be related to the essential question for our unit, which if you look up above, unit essential questions, how do we create or how do we contribute to community when faced with the complexity of so many different values, beliefs, experiences, and backgrounds? So that's been the essential question that we've worked on. So I can almost guarantee you that whatever idea it is that you're interested in can be linked in some way to how we come together or how we struggle and what pulls us apart, or to a value system or a belief system, or to experiences or different backgrounds. So their ideas have connections, and so that's really what we're looking to make. So then you're going to do a visual display. Sorry about that. Going to do a visual display, really taking things beyond the obvious. So what I did was tell the other classes who had me in person about different projects that students in the past have done with this particular piece. So one of the ones that I talked about was a student who was studying subliminal advertising, and he got really super into it. And what he did was he got a refrigerator box, this huge box, and he cut a hole in it so that it was like made a doorway, and he hung a curtain, and then he took all these like thousands of magazine images and he pasted them all over the walls of the inside of the box and the ceiling of the box. and then he cut a hole in the top of the box and he put a strobe light inside of it. And he had all these, in addition to all the different images he also had images of a particular type of drink. I think it was like Mountain Dew or something. And so you'd go into the box and you'd draw the curtain and he would flick on the strobe light and you would just look at the walls, and hopefully you didn't have an epileptic seizure because it's a strobe light, but you just look at the walls and you'd look at all the different images. And so he did that, and then when you came out, he offered you a drink. And he was like, do you want to have, you could like choose a Pepsi or you could choose a Mountain Dew. And so he was kind of watching to see how well his subliminal advertising research sort of bore out. So that was just kind of an idea of stuff you could do. But that's what the exhibits can look like. They can be like these multimedia, they can be things that but they're things that you build, and that was the way he wanted to teach people about the way subliminal advertising worked. So anyway, that's just a little bit about that. If you flick to the back page, it talks about a placard. So that's like, you've got to title your exhibit. So you've got to have, a placard is just like a tag board piece that's kind of makes like a tent, and you have your name of your exhibit there and your name on it. Then you're going to write a brief 2-paragraph summary. So 1 paragraph summarizes the idea, and the second what you learned, and that gets handed in to me, but it will also be sitting there next to your exhibit. I know this is a terrible video, and I don't know how to use my phone this way, so this is a totally new thing for me. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. So look at this topic areas, and you've got psychology and science, math, art, culture, fashion, sports, environment, media. All of those things can be connected to our essential question. So it's really up to you, like, to decide what it is that you're interested in. Like, I'm super interested in string theory. I'm really interested in space. I like the concept of black holes. I like all of these kinds of like philosophical ideas that like question your existence. And so those are the things that I'm interested in. Some people are interested in concepts of crime. Some people like science. So there's all kinds of things that you can study. The trick is to try to connect that to our essential question. So if you flick over to the very back page that has the sample proposal, you have to write a proposal for what it is that you're going to be studying. So the sample proposal has the format that you should type it into a Google Doc. And then you're going to submit that to me. And basically, you've got to make sure that you have a topic, a rationale, which is like a reason for why you want to study this, what it is that draws you to it. There's the bell. It's time for bee lunch. You need to have a connection to the essential question and read the topic that I put in there because it will give you some ideas. You need to have some questions that you create very similar to the questions that we wrote for our Socratic seminar. They're more open-ended, and so they're going to sort of guide your research. You put a timeline together, and if you look up at the board, you can see that I have the date that it's due and the work days that you're going to have to work on it in class. You can work on it outside of class too. You're going to have an essential question and a hypothesis, and you're going to go through the different procedures. So that's kind of what it is that you're going to be doing with Museum of the Mind. And so any questions you can email me. Otherwise, I will be back on next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. You can also ask people who talked with me on A Day today, which is the day I'm making this recording, and maybe they can let you know any insight as well. Okay, I hope you guys have fun. Work hard. Talk to you later. Bye.